Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Let's talk about some books I have read recently, maybe the last 3 that I've read, and then the one that I'm currently reading that I am obsessed with. Let's get to it. Libby and I are going on a little birthday trip for me this weekend. We're staying close to Chattanooga, but it's going to be very content heavy, and I hadn't posted a book review or book video in a while, so let's do it. Some books I've read and what I'm reading now. Starting off with a little bit of a different one. This is Crash Test by Amy James. I got this as an advanced reader copy through NetGalley. If you know anything about me, I'm obsessed with Formula One. It's the only sport that I religiously keep up with. My husband loves it. And this one is a male-male F1 romance. I don't know how I feel about it. I really like the story. It's just about this horrible younger guy, and actually I shouldn't say anything because I don't want to give spoilers. But of course it's a romance, so you could assume how the ending goes. Basically, they're very early on in the book, there's a huge crash, and that changes the dynamics of the F1 season, of course, and their careers, but also their relationship, because they're still hiding their relationship, but now one of them is very much so in the hospital, potentially on his deathbed. There's family drama, there's a lot going on here. There's they're kind of co-workers in a sense, so kind of a co-worker romance. I really like the writing, I really like the story. The only thing I did not like was honestly the ending, and it went back and forth from point of view between guys, or it was maybe half and half, I don't remember. But I really liked the writing, the story. I just hated the ending. It felt so rushed, and one of the guys was just oh yeah, everything's perfect, and it was just so unrealistic. But overall, I liked it. I think I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I would definitely read more of her books. I love F1 books in general, so thanks, Amy James, for giving me a copy. And if you're into F1, absolutely read it. It's cutie. Did I read it or listen? No, I read it. I read it on my Kindle. So, very cute. 4 out of 5 stars. Number 2 is Lies and Weddings by Kevin Kwan. I love him. I love this book. I love him. I've had this book on my TBR for seriously over a year now, since it came out. I want to say it came out last summer. I don't know. I have recommended this book in my book club every single month since we have started meeting, and my book has never gotten picked, and I keep recommending this one because I wanted to read it so bad. Finally, I was I need a new audiobook. I'm gonna listen to it. It's a hefty read. There are a lot of characters. There's a lot going on. There are so many crazy side plots. If you've seen Crazy Rich Asians, this is the same author who wrote those books. I personally have not read the Crazy Rich Asians series. I think there's 3, but I would love to. I've seen the movie, and it's of course one of the best movies ever. But this book was fantastic. There's so much going on. It's an easy read, but you have to pay attention. Oh my god, a baby cow. Oh, nope, that was a goat. That was a goat hanging out with a big cow. But I love his writing. I loved the plot. This is about family drama in the sense of a crazy wedding with royals and just billionaires. And I just keep saying there's a lot going on because there really is. I mean, you're dealing with children being married off, and lies from your parents, and lies from your siblings, and lies from your husband, and everyone is lying to everyone, and it is crazy, but it is a fantastic story, fantastic writing. I don't know if there was anything I didn't love. I'm sure I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was fantastic, and I want to read another one of his books right this very second. So I would say my only gripe was maybe that it was just it felt very long. I listened to it, and I feel I was listening for days and days and days, which is fine. There were just at some points where I was who is talking? What is this? Because there were so many characters. But again, Lies and Weddings, Kevin Kwan, love him. I'll absolutely read his books. He's fantastic. One I got an advanced copy of. This is The Swimming Group by Dr. Bella Elwood Clayton, and if that name rings a bell, it is because I interviewed her maybe 2 years ago, a long time ago, when she came out with her debut novel. I don't really even know how we came across each other, but we have just I say stayed friends, stayed in touch. She's fantastic. She writes these twisty, like, thrillers, but they're not spooky. It's just like a psychological type, like lies and deception, but also there's a bit of romance. So this book, The Swimming Group, is about a group of ladies and a couple men who meet up every morning at like 5 a.m. and do a cold plunge in the ocean. And the whole shtick of the group is that they all have some crazy trauma. So like one of them was like an ex-Olympian. One of them, they all have secrets. They all have secrets and trauma, and they don't share them with each other. But one of the people in the group starts to maybe like learn all their secrets and threatens to tell them in a sense. And then there is someone who goes missing, and it's so good without being like too much. There's not too many characters, there's not too many plot lines. That's the thing about her. She sticks with a solid plot line and just builds the details so well. I could do a whole video on this book because that's how passionately I feel about her and her writing. I think this is only her second novel, and I'm obsessed. She's fantastic. She just is so good at like building this world and the characters, and you feel like you're right there with them, like literally doing a cold plunge in the ocean, and you know everyone's secrets. It's amazing. I love her. I'm sure I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. She also ends her books very quickly, but it's not a bad thing because you're building to it the whole time. Whereas with Crash Test, the F1 book, it was kind of like you're unsure. Here's the ending, the book's done, and there's no like explanation as to why that is how it ended. Whereas this book, it's like, here's the plot, here's the drama, it's building, and you have your ideas of what's going on, but you're never sure. And then it gets to the ending, and it all just like comes together very beautifully, and it's so twisty. I don't know how she thinks of this stuff, but she does a great job. So that's The Swimming Group by Dr. Bella Elwood Clayton. I love her. Thank you for giving me a copy of this one. Absolutely ate it up. I'm going to do one I did not like, and that was Here We Go Again by Alison Cochran. This was a book club pick, and not blaming it on anyone except Alison Cochran. And I will say most of my book club really loved this book. Me and one other girl, we like could barely finish it. I gave it like 2 out of 5 stars. It's about these two childhood this is mascara, not anything weird. It's about these two childhood best friends that were seriously like inseparable from ages around like middle school ages. They had a big falling out. They both have crazy family drama, yada yada yada. It's a bit of a romance, but then there's this old man involved who used to be one of their teachers, and they're both teachers now too. So 2 teachers, and they're one of their old teachers. He is dying. He says, my dying wish is for you girls to take me on a road trip. Sounds good enough, yeah, right? Well, both of the main characters are seriously terrible. The only good character is that old man. The writing is the worst thing I've ever read in my entire life. She's so repetitive, and I understand if you're being repetitive, like trying to get across how the character speaks, but it was too much. It was to the point where I was like keeping track of, there were like 2 things that she kept saying and kept repeating, so I started keeping track of it because I was like, this is crazy. Like, it was just awful. It was insufferable. The characters were terrible. Well, I liked one of them a lot more than the others, but then there's a romance aspect. It is a story about friendship, but not necessarily between them. In my opinion, the friendship is between the girls and the older man, like their old teacher, because he's like, they're on this road trip, he's giving them these life lessons. He's talking about Tuesdays with Morrie. I loved that connection because it very was much so like modern day Tuesdays with Morrie. And if you haven't read that, you have to. It is a classic book. I wouldn't call it a classic, but I think everyone in the world should read it at least one time, if not once a year. It's just a peculiar book. I liked the plot and I liked the story, but I hated the characters and I hated her writing. But I thought her storytelling was very good. Like, the descriptions were good, and, you know, the way she built up everything was good, and the storyline was great. It was just that the writing was so bad I almost couldn't finish it. So, sorry, you can't love them all. And I've been on a good loving streak. Like, I have really enjoyed most of the books I've read recently. So, this one was the outlier. It's here we go again, Alison Cochrane. Sorry. And the book I'm reading right now, which is again another book club pick, is The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. Surprisingly, I almost just hit a bird. Surprisingly, I've never read a Kristen Hanna book. I can't believe I never have. I think I'm just such a Jodi Picoult fan, and her books are so deep and heavy, and it's a grueling read. Like, you don't end a Jodi Picoult book like feeling lighter, you know, if that makes sense, or feeling like relaxed. You're always kind of, oh my God, that was crazy. And it just sits with you for a while. And that's what I'm getting from Kristen Hanna. And I think that's why I've never read any of her books, was because I just wasn't ready for another author to give me that feeling. Let me tell you, I'm getting that feeling with The Great Alone. I'm exactly halfway through it. I'm listening to it, which I'm glad I am, because I'm hearing more of her storytelling in like a very specific way. I think if I were reading it, I wouldn't have as much of an emotional connection to it. Fantastic. So far, I love her writing. I love her storytelling. The characters are phenomenal. There aren't too many characters. She's amazing. Oh, I hate when a light comes on in the car, but this book is about a young girl who, her parents have some issues. Her dad was in the war. Her dad is abusive. That is a trigger that I assumed going into this book, but I wish someone would have blatantly told me like how descriptive it is. So just be careful. But her dad, you know, he was in Vietnam and he is struggling, and her mom is just so in love with him that her mom will follow him anywhere. And so they moved to Alaska. She has hardly any friends. They have hardly any money. And this book, like, so far is just the struggles of their life in Alaska, the last frontier, like the great alone, and learning, you know, how to deal with the neighbors and how to make friends out of practically nobody. And they're cramped in this teeny tiny log cabin. It's deep. It's really deep. This is like truly a story about like family and love and friendships, and I can't wait to finish it. I just started a couple days ago, so I've been listening. It's hefty. It is a long book. I think it's like 12 or 14 hours maybe, and I'm like 6 in, I think. So we're getting there. We're pushing through, but it's very, very good. My ears keep popping. Very good. I see now why everyone is obsessed with her. I am also now on the Kristen Hanna train, unless the ending absolutely wrecks me, which I'm sure it will. So anyway, that's that one. And then I wanted to end this video by talking about something very exciting that I'm doing. And then I wanted to end this video by talking about something very exciting that I'm doing. So one of the girls who is kind of like the host of our book club, she's the one that got us all together. We were all complete strangers. She had this idea to do a reading retreat. We live a couple hours from Gatlinburg, like beautiful cozy mountains and cabins and whatnot. We were all like, yeah, that'd be a great idea. And you know, I have a good connection with a lot of publishers and authors. So once we kind of got an idea of like dates, I started reaching out to all of those people, publishers, authors, and I am so blessed to say that almost the entire trip has been paid for, and we're doing the damn thing. We are hosting a reading retreat, our very first one, and it will be 7 girls. We're going to Gatlinburg. We are hosted in a gorgeous cabin. It will be so fantastic. Sorry, I'm driving up the mountain and it looks like twilight. I wish I could turn my camera around. But I'm just so blessed for every single person that has like watched my YouTube videos, watched my TikToks. Like, I understand that they're just, you know, silly little book videos, but it truly means the world to me. And you also may not know, but I really do a lot of Google reviews, and so that has helped me so much in like my review ranking, I guess, and status, which means a lot to businesses as well. So luckily we have partnered with a ton of great people on like the cabin and the foods and the local shops and activities. And then of course we're getting tons of books, and I hope none of the girls are watching this, but if you are, your welcome bags are gonna be so sick. The whole weekend is just gonna be sick, and I cannot wait to do another. This is our first one. It came together last minute, and we're just so lucky. The other host, Angelina, she's got quite the TikTok following, and I think the two of us are just like such a power duo. We are getting it done, and it's gonna be a great weekend for all the girlies. So I can't wait to tell you guys more. So I have a lot of like heavy content stuff coming up. I've got this weekend our little birthday trip, and then that's in a couple weekends. So I'm so excited. But anyway, thanks for watching. Love you guys. Tell me what books you're reading, what you want me to read. I did get a comment the other day, and it was like, I would love your opinion on these books. And I was like, oh my God, that means the world to me. Like, I love when people give me recommendations because they want to talk about it with me. So absolutely do that. Read these books. Let me know your thoughts. And happy Friday. Love ya. Bye.